Okay, hey everyone, and welcome to a brand new Class 66 Rocks Locomotive review. And before we start, in regards to the house move, we've been in communication with the guy who's selling his house to us, and due to his own job, due to he runs his own company, he's hoping to make a start on the drive at the end of May or the beginning of June. So it's just due to his own job really, because he works long hours and sometimes he has to travel to meet people to discuss business with them. So until I know a bit more, I will keep doing reviews, and as soon as I have extra information about the house move and regarding the new layout, I will keep updating whilst we're still at the old house. But if we're ever over there at the new house, I'll try and get a video done while I'm over there of the area where the layout's going to be going. So without further ado, let's get on with the review then. So today, as we can see, we're looking at an absolutely stunning Heljan model. I haven't looked at these for some time, but this particular one is one of my favourites. It's a Class 33, and in a minute you'll see exactly why it's one of my favourites. But as we can see around the sides and the front of the box, we have the Heljan logo, as you can see. The boxes are really tough, so you can store things in them if you use the boxes for something else after having the locomotive in it, or you've put the loco on the layout and decide to keep the box. So if we take a look at the side now, we can see we have the product number 3303 and the locomotive is 33030, and it's in EWS maroon and gold livery. So as you can tell, EWS is one of my favourites along with Freightliner, and Heljan are always a good locomotive to purchase in regards to haulage capacity, and they're absolutely outstanding. You can't fault them at all. So we'll put the box down and we'll take a look at it. So as I previously mentioned, the boxes are quite sturdy, so as I say, you can fit items in the bottom of there knowing that they're not just going to drop out of the bottom. So we sometimes use them for tools, etc. So they are handy little storage boxes as well as locomotive storage. So I'll put that to one side. So the next thing that we have is this piece of foam. Now what I do with this is I use it for locomotive storage boxes in the loft. So what I do, I cut bits out of the foam and slot it in between each loco so they don't all bang together during transit, because they're all, with them being in storage boxes, once we start moving house, then obviously when we're travelling up and down with the car and the removal van, at least they won't all bang together and get damaged, because that's the last thing that I need to happen really. So the next thing that we have is this piece of paper that says the radio roof pod position on. So it's this actually just says it should be attached as shown. Before fitting, check your chosen prototype for suitability. And the next thing is it's like a Christmas cracker, this box is. It's full of things. These are train reporting numbers for the Heljan Class 33. These are typical head code displays reproduced in the correct BR type style. So as you can see, we've got all these on here, and I'll have to refer to the instructions in a minute, and that will tell us a bit about them. So obviously, depending on what position you decide to have, so they must be different for freight or passenger or something. So now we've got the instructions, as you can see. Now the 33 running numbers went from 3300 to 3330. So as you can see, we've got a bit of information about the model itself. So inside we have some information on buffer beam detailing, train reporting number just there, as you can see. we've got a tool for head code displays and some information about digital command control and how to make this particular locomotive DCC ready. And on the back we just have a bit of information about the Class 33 itself. So as you can see, we've got the specification just here, and we've got some information about the locomotive itself. Now I'm not going to read all of that because I need to get on with the review. So we'll keep hold of the instructions, like I say, because they always come in useful. So moving on now, we've got some detailing in this pack here. It's a bit open at the top, so I'm not going to take it all out. But as you can see, we've got some ploughs, etc. It does take a bit of time to detail Heljan locomotives, but the person I bought it off has actually put some detailing on it by the looks of things. So we'll take a look at that now. So as we can see, the locomotive is protected in a very nice plastic bag, and we've also got a foam surround around that as well to keep it even more protected. So it always is a nice touch with Heljan that they make the effort to keep the locomotives from getting damaged, and presentation methods are just 10 out of 10 for Heljan. So we'll just put the locomotive down a minute. So as you can see, obviously they cut the foam so the locomotive just slots inside, and they've also got other compartments for like accessories, etc. on the tops there. And if I just lift this up slightly, you can see we've got another bit of foam underneath there. So it's absolutely outstanding packaging is for Heljan. I can't fault it. So we'll just move the box out the way a minute. So let's move on to the locomotive then. So as you can see, here we have the Class 33. As mentioned, it's in a very nice plastic bag, keeping it protected. So what I'll do now, I'll slowly take the locomotive out. Careful not to damage it, and just put the bag there. So here we have it, the Class 33 in EWS livery. Now I've got to say, it's got quite a bit of weight to it, which is a good thing. So the more weight you've got, the better the haulage capacity is. So taking a look at the front of the locomotive now, you can see on the top here we've got the area for the roof pod, as mentioned on that little slip of paper I just showed you. Moving down, we can see we've got some detailed windscreen wipers on the front windows. Now I'm guessing this is where the head codes go, in this centre section just here. As you can see, we've got some metal grab rails or handrails on the front just below the windows. Now we've got a little light there, which I'm presuming lights up, but I haven't had a chance to test this locomotive yet due to we have no layout. But I might put it on a piece of track and use my Batman EZ command just to give it a bit of a run in. Maybe put a length of track in my room and just run it forwards and back. Or I might put it on my Hornby rolling road, I'm not too sure yet. So as you can see, we have the locomotive number just there, which is 33030. Now, as I was saying, I think the previous the user has actually fitted some detailing to it, because usually Heljan locomotives don't come with this bottom detailing already on. So as you can see, we've got sprung loaded rounded buffers, which is an excellent touch. So any rolling stock with NEM sprung buffers on will be compatible with this model. Turning the locomotive round to the side now, as you can see, again we've got some metal handrails by the cab door just here. Moving along now, we can see we have the EWS gold stripe going down the length of the loco, and obviously the maroon is above and below that. As you can see, we have the locomotive number 33030 and the word EWS just there. Now we've got some windows running along the length of here. Now I'm sure this is where the engine compartment is, as I'm not too knowledgeable on the Class 33, but if you do know, please leave your comments below. As you can see, we've got some very nice grille effects running across the top half there. That's mainly more on the roof area, which we'll get to in a minute. Now, as you can see, this orange line just here, you have to be very careful with that, because I once had a Heljan locomotive and it started to fade off, so I had to touch it up with a bit of umbral orange paint and then let it dry. So that's why I try and not get me hands all over the loco, because obviously I don't want to damage it or anything. But I don't know why it faded in the first place, so it might have just been a problem with a particular model, as I bought it from used condition anyway, so I'm not too sure. But anyway, right, moving on. So moving on to the back end of the loco now, we can see we've got some very nice etched grille effects just there. And on this side of the locomotive we have the words English, Welsh and Scottish Railway. And I think it's the three beastie design for that? I can't actually remember off the top of my head, but if you do know, please leave your comments below, like I say. So as we can see, there's 4 wheels on either bogie, which are under there and under there. And we also have the fuel tank just here, as you can see. You can just see that, that's the underneath section. So let's move the locomotive round to the back and take a look at it. So again, on this side, as you can see, we've got the area for the roof pod on the roof. Again, we've got some detailed windscreen wipers over the windows and an area for the head code to go on. As you can see, we have the directional light just there, the locomotive running number and some more metal handrails, which is a fantastic feature. And we also have sprung rounded buffers. Now that one's sticking a bit, because when I press it in it doesn't come out, but that one's sprung. But luckily this locomotive is going to be pulling, so I won't need to put it in reverse too much. But as you can see, there's a bit of detailing on the bottom just here, and we also have an NEM coupling pocket just there. Moving the locomotive round to the other side now, as you can see again, there's not much difference I can show you really, and we have some very detailed handrails over the cab door, some nice etched grille effects. We have the EWS wording and the locomotive number 33030 as well. But as you can see, it's an absolutely outstanding loco and an EWS livery as well. You just can't fault them. So moving on to the roof area now, you can see we've got a bit of basic detailing going along the roof, but you can feel maybe like where the rivets are supposed to be. And we've got a very nice etched grille fan just there. It's a shame these didn't turn like the Hornby models, because it would really suit the class 33 and by Heljan if they made it so that the fans turned like the Hornby model, which is the class 56. As the one I've got, his name's Storer, so maybe one day it might end up like that. But that's it basically, the Heljan class 33 in EWS livery.